Yeah, I think now we are ready to go. Namaste, everyone. Sorry for the delay. So we were talking last time about a problem in 15th chapter. Let me repeat the problem. The problem is in Shankara Bhashya, in the 15th chapter, there is no direct mention of the word Nirguna or any concept of Nirguna in the 15th chapter. Do you remember this problem, this question?
Yes.
Yeah. So I looked at it and I asked many people in the VV Parishat group, where there are a number of very good scholars. I should have asked in the Advaita.org. I'm not a member of that. I wanted to become a member. Maybe I was a member a long time back, but my membership got deleted or something when I changed my computers. So whatever I understand from them is the Nirguna concept is actually borrowed from the 13th chapter and it is repeated in the 15th chapter by Shankaracharya. But actually, the original verses of the 15th chapter does not indicate probably anything about the Nirguna aspect. That's all. And that's the way it is set up in the Bhagavad Gita. And as you know, interpretations are for any acharya, interpretations of Gita is very difficult. And other acharyas have problems interpreting some other aspects of Bhagavad Gita. So, and we have to go beyond the interpretation, right? That is, at the end of the day, the reality is realization. So that is beyond interpretation. Actually, we need to realize everything. So this in the textbook is only the textbooks are only indications. They give you a good level of thoughts for you to understand and guide you while you are on the path of sadhana to achieve perfection. So this is what I believe. Any questions on this? Any comments?
Krishna, I have some comments.
Yeah.
Concept-wise, according to Shankara, Nirguna is the highest.
Yes.
So even though in the 15th chapter, as you told, Bhagavan has not directly told, but certainly to uphold the concept, at least is indicated in the 15.17 about the Nirguna Brahman.
Where? 15.17? Let me look at it.
Yeah. Uttama Purushastvanya, yes.
One second. Uttama Purushastvanya Paramatma Tidahartaha Yo Lokatrayam Avishya Vibharti Avyaya Ishwara. Right?
Yes.
So, what does the original verse say? See, let's try to understand this, right? The previous verse says, Dvavimau Purusha Loke Kshara Akshara Evacha Kshara Sarvani Bhutani Kutastho Akshara Uchyate. Right? In that, Dvav Imau Purusha Loke Ksharascha Akshara Evacha, Shankaracharya means Kshara and Akshara. Akshara as the Maya, which is the seed of Kshara, which is the Ashvattha Vriksha. That is what we see as this universe today. And the root of the Bija, is, here it goes a little bit complicated, right? Just one second. Let me show you something on the screen here. Let me open 15th chapter because, one second. So can you see my slide?
No, Krishna ji.
No, we are not able to see the slide.
One second. So what do you see now?
We see the slide.
Yes.
Okay, but it's not big, right? Now is it? No, it's not going. Is it now full screen?
Yes.
Okay, full screen. So the Brahma Avyaktam Maya Shaktimat, right? This is the root is the Prakriti or Maya, which is Avyakta and which has got Maya Shaktimati. It has got Maya Shakti. Is that agreed?
Yes.
And so there are two things, Kshara and Akshara. Kshara is the whole tree. Akshara is the root of the tree or the seed of the tree. Seed is Maya. Obviously, it has to be the seed. Seed is Maya. The root is Prakriti. And the whole tree is Kshara. And what is Akshara is unchanging, is the Maya. And the unchanging is because there are so many seeds and constantly it's evolving. So that seed is unchanging. Because of so many seeds are there. That seed itself, that whole thing is not changing. That's how Shankaracharya takes it. So in Dvavimo Purusho Loke Ksharascha Akshara Evacha, these are the two. Uttama Purushastvanyaha Paramatma Siddhartha. The third one is Paramatma. That Paramatma being Nirguna is not said, but the Uttama Purusha, the third entity other than this is Paramatma. That's what is said, right? Do you agree?
Yes, but the Bhashya,
Yes.
but in the Bhashya, I don't know whether it is again a interpretation issue or what, but there in the this thing Bhashya in the Gita Super set, he interprets it in terms of Nirguna only. Supposing, let us assume that he does not give like that.
I understand that this is the Bhashya. You can see it, right? See, Uttama Purushastvanyaha Paramatma Siddhartha Yo Lokatrayam Avishya Bibharthi Avyaya Ishwara, right?
Yes.
So,
Let us
Uttama, I am just saying the Shankara Bhashya here. Uttama Purushaha, Utkushtamaha Purushastu Anyaha, Atyanta Vilakshanaha. So, Uttama Purusha is different, very different. Abhyam Paramatma iti Paramascha aso Dehad Yavidya Krita Atmabhyaha Atma cha Sarvabhutanam Pratyakchetanaha Ityataha Paramatma iti Udaharataha. So, the thing is, he is the Atma of everybody. Sarvabhutanam Pratyakchetana, right? Sa eva Vishishyate Yaha Lokatrayam Bhurbhuva Swarakyam Swakiyaya Chaitanya Bala Shaktya Avishya Pravishya Vibharti. So the thing is, this Bhurbhuva Swaha are three lokas. Okay, the three lokas are empowered by the power Chaitanya Shakti, and Avishya Pravishya, he has entered into this Bhurbhuva Swar lokas. Vibharti, Swarupa Sadbhava Matrena Vibharti holds on to it. It supports everything. Avyayaha na asya vyayaha vidyate iti avyayaha. So what you're saying is here, there is no change to this, but he just holds on, right?
Basically, if you see the English translation in the Gita Supersite, that Atma cha Sarva Bhutanam Pratyakchetanaha. So there actually there's a question mark, but actually what they have given is there. It is the self itself, the inner light.
See, English people can say whatever they want to.
Now the question is, let us say,
Shankaracharya did not write it in English. Agreed? Agreed?
if we do agreed, but if we don't take if we don't take that Shankara means the Nirguna Brahman here, then concept wise, he does not actually, it will not indicate Nirguna Brahman. It will stop only at the Saguna Brahman then.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
After you finish, maybe after you finish. Okay.
No, but oh, I'm sorry. You can continue.
See, this, what I understand is the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. The spiritual world, the tree is okay, straight. It is a reflection that is upward, upside down, isn't it? If I understand it right. Did you get my question? See, the tree of the material world is only the reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. Is it like this or it's not like that? Am I wrong?
See, the reflection is not even mentioned here, right? Okay. There is no reflection mentioned. The real tree and the unreal tree is not mentioned here.
Okay, that is okay. So the understanding is wrong for me. Okay, I got it here.
So the reflection theory does not even surface up here, as far as I know. The only place it surfaces is the Jiva. In the 15th chapter, the concept called Jiva is said, right? What you call Jiva lives from one body to the other body, right? Then how does the Jiva move? Jiva is a reflection in one body, mind, intelligence, complex, right? And if that person dies, the Jiva has to leave the body. So that reflection goes away to its source, that is Brahman. Just like how a bucket has, suppose there's water in the bucket, and then sun is reflected on the surface of the water. Assume that this bucket is something like the body, mind, intellect. So that's reflection, where suppose the water flows out of the bucket, as if like something, there is a hole in the bucket and water flows out, like how the life force can flow out of a body, right? So the thing is, that reflection goes back to the sun. Similarly, the Jiva goes back to the Brahman. There is no real going back, but it's just an analogy here. That's how Shankaracharya gives an analogy, but that analogy is not really explained regarding a real tree and a reflection tree. No, that's not there.
I misunderstood. I thought in the spiritual world, the tree is upwards, and in our world, that the reflected tree is reversed. Okay, I'm wrong in that. Okay, thank you.
So here only the whole tree analogy means there is an upside down tree. The upside is the root. The root is the Prakriti, or the causal matter, the primordial causal matter, Prakriti, from which all the Prithvi, Tejo, Vayu, Akash, the 5 elements, and the objects of elements, the Indriya, Manas, everything will come out. They're all products, and finally we are in the stage where we have a subtle body, we have a gross body, and all those things. So the thing is, so cause is the up, and the effects are down. That's what this whole tree is about.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Coming back to the same, continuing the same argument. Now, if you yourself have posed this question that 15th chapter is supposed to be the summary chapter of the Gita.
Correct.
And even Shankara holds it as a very important chapter.
Yes.
Now, if we tell that Shankara himself has not mentioned about Nirguna Brahman, at least in the Bhashya, okay, Bhagavan has not explicitly mentioned, but if Shankara has not mentioned, then how can, as you told, how can it be a summary chapter? It is a very important.
Shankaracharya mentions about Nirguna Brahma right in this chapter. See, but he is not able to mention in this verse. That's what I'm saying. In this verse, Ishwara. One second. He has entered into this universe. By the very presence, he holds everything. Kaha Ishwaraha Sarvajnaha Narayanakyah. He is an all-knowing Narayana, Ishana Shilaha, the person who controls and rules. Yatha Vyakhyatasi Ishwarasya Purushottamaha Ityatat Nama Prasiddham. Purushottama is also very famous. because here Shankaracharya even mentions in other places where the word Purusha is explained as the Purusha of the Purusha Sukta, which is mentioned in almost all the Vedas, right? Yajurveda, Rigveda, and all. The Purusha Sukta is mentioned in all the 4 Vedas. So that is the Purusha, and that Purusha he calls Narayana. So Nama Nirvachaptasya Arthavatam Namnoha Darshena Niratya Aham Ishwara iti Atmanam Darshayati Bhagavan. See, the only trick maybe what I forgot last time is Abhyayaha, non-changing, right? Non-changing means the same Ishwara appears as the creator, controller, Narayana, Sarvajna and all. But he is essentially unchanging. The unchanging aspect of it is, can you say it as Nirguna? It's hard sell, but that's the only thing which comes close to Nirguna here. Nothing else. And that Advaita.
What about that Atma chi sarva bhutanam pratyak chetana? What about pratyak chetana?
Pratyak chetana is, see, the thing is, pratyak chetana is the one chetana which controls everything, right?
Yeah. So it also indicates, that also indicates one this thing, right?
One, but it is Saguna, not the Nirguna. Nirgunatva is not mentioned here. That is my question, that's all. I checked it. The entire, in fact, one guy called Nagaraj Paturi, who is sort of, head of that list, he said that, okay, yeah, Shankaracharya takes the Nirgunatva from the 13th chapter. What do you call Nasatan Nasaduchyate, right? That is not Sat or that is not Asat. It is different from both. That he calls Nirguna in the 13th chapter. And that is borrowed here in the 15th chapter. And when I clearly said that the original verses does not indicate anything which is Nirguna here in the 15th chapter, he agreed and said, well, yeah, Bhagavad Gita is hard to understand. And if the Nirguna term had come in 15th chapter, then the other 2 acharyas or other 5 acharyas, whoever like Shankaracharya, other like Madhvacharya, Ramanuja.org and other acharyas other than Shankaracharya would not even have a chance to present their philosophy if it was so clear.
Yeah, that's true. Objectively speaking, I agree that Bhagavan does not actually explicitly state here. Of course, it is only from Shankara's interpretation.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, even going further, he mentions that it is ityuktaha. In that continuing, there it tells Vedanteshu. So whatever is told here is said in the Vedanta. In fact, if we see Shankara's interpretation, for literal meaning for Shankara's interpretation, you can get this in the Vedantas, not in Bhagavad Gita.
Correct.
But since he uses the term here, it is all told in Vedanta, in the Vedanta. Somewhere, I personally, looking at 2 interpretations, one by...
No. What he is saying, probably he is saying is, what do you call? See, you need to understand the only way I can connect, only using the Bhagavad Gita, is for Shankaracharya, the Ishwara and the Jiva and Nirguna Brahman are all same.
Yeah.
And that was clearly mentioned in the 13th chapter. And that he is bringing back here. So even though Ishwara is mentioned as Narayana, who is controller, who is Sarvajna, he knows everything kind of a thing, and is the creator, protector, and all those things, that Narayana is identical to Nirguna Brahma, looking at it from a different perspective. That's what you should need to get from the 13th chapter. You cannot put it in the 15th chapter. 15th chapter itself does not have any space for Nirguna aspect. That's what I'm saying. The original version.
But still your question is valid, because this is summary chapter, and from the point of view to be true to his concepts, that has to be interpolated somewhere here.
Yeah, exactly. Shankaracharya interpolates it here. But the thing is, why is, from Krishna's perspective, why Nirgunatva is not important? That he missed out in the summary chapter. But
maybe,
you know one thing, there is a small, there's a different defense from the Advaita side, right? Difference to support Shankaracharya. See, the thing is, he will say 18th chapter is the real essence, not 15th chapter. 15th chapter is, well, pretty much good things are said in the 15th chapter. Still is a big essence is said. Some things are left out in the essence, but in the 18th chapter, it will come back. So maybe from that point of view, you can support. And at the end of the day, interpretation is a tough game. That's all. And in 18th chapter, does it come really pop up in the 18th chapter as Nirguna? That is what we're going to check a little bit. In the next 1 or 2 lectures, I'm going to focus on the 18th chapter.
This is Prashant here.
Yeah.
So as per one of the Advaita books, which I had, the Atma Darshani. So for Lord Krishna, there is nothing Nirguna actually. Because Nirguna is something which is not without attributes. It is just because of the existence of Maya, we cannot see the real attributes of the Lord. And Lord takes up the attributes as per the will of Maya, because he controls Maya. So with his control of Maya, a realized person can only see those attributes. So if till the time the person doesn't differentiate between Maya and Ishwara, the Saguna Brahman, he cannot know the real attributes of Brahman. So as per Lord Krishna, the Lord Ishwara, there is nothing Nirguna. There are attributes, but those are not cannot be understood, because we all of us are under the influence of Maya. That's what is mentioned in the book.
Yeah. See what it is there are statements of Shankara Bhashya's essence, right? So Shankara Bhashya's essence is stated there in those books, in Atma Darshani.
Yes.
So what happens is, it does not go line by line and say, even if it goes line by line, it's a translation of Shankara Bhashya or even a true explanation of Shankara Bhashya, that's still the question still remains, that the Nirguna Pada was not used, or the concept was not used in the 15th chapter, in the original words of 20 shlokas of the 15th chapter. That's what it is, right?
Yes.
That's all. And conceptually, Shankara Bhashya can extend, extrapolate, connect 15th, 18th, 13th, 12th, whatever, and make different meanings out of it. There is no problem. And that is what you call the whole theory of Advaita is about regarding Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. So that is fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one thing which is clearly mentioned is Brahman himself shows himself as the Saguna Brahman, the Ishwara, where he is in control of Maya, and he himself is the Jiva, the numerous Jivas, which are under the influence of Avidya, Nishayans.
So that is clear. I don't understand. What is your point? I didn't understand.
That is also mentioned that, as you said, for Shankaracharya, Brahman, the Nirguna Brahman, then the Saguna Brahman and Jiva, all three are the same. So the Nirguna Brahman himself enters the universe as Saguna Brahman with the control of Maya, because he is controlling Maya. And then as the Jiva, where the Jiva is under the control of Avidya, like he is under the influence of Avidya.
Sure. Yeah. See, those concepts come in 13th chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, and those concepts are not perfectly present in the 15th chapter.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We agree. Now I'm gonna just a second. I stop share. Now I'm going to look further and see the concepts of Shankara Bhashya we were talking about. See, in the 16th chapter, I did not see any distinct difference between Shankara Bhashya and the other two Bhashyas. It's all about Daivi Prakriti and Asuri Prakriti. So that was pretty straightforward, actually. I didn't see any difference. And at the end, Shastra being very important is stressed in Shankara Bhashya also. So Shankara Bhashya is very clear on how three things can take you to Naraka. That is Kama, Krodha, and Lobha. So Shankaracharya's explanations are very good in this chapter, no question. And in the 17th chapter, they talk about how the Shraddha, the three types of Shraddha, that is Rajasi Shraddha, Tamasi Shraddha, and Satviki Shraddha, and how these people pray to different kinds of devatas, how the Satvikas pray to devas, and Rajasas prays to Yaksha and Rakshas. Rakshamsi, they say. Maybe they are Rakshasas. It can't be Rakshasas, but the thing is, there's something. Yaksha Raksha is. I got to check what exactly is Rakshamsi there. Okay. Pretan Bhutaganan Yajante Tamasa Janaha. So the thing is, tamasic people pray to the Pretas and Bhutaganas. So that is explained here. And their methods of worship, the types of food they eat, and then and the type of yajna they do, the interest in which they do, the shraddha with which they do yajnas, all these things are explained in the 17th chapter, right? And what does this the meaning of Om Tat Sat, like how Shankaracharya says, even yajna dana tapah karmas should be done with offering of everything to the Lord and without any phala abhisandhi or phalabhisandhi or interest in the fruits of it, or that you are the doer kind of kartrutva or anything like that, without feeling that it has to be done. That will purify the mind of the person, right? So that's all okay. When it comes to the 18th chapter, now comes the idea of Shankaracharya's twist to certain aspects of the initial portion of 18th chapter. So Arjuna says, what is the difference between Sannyasa and Tyaga? I need to know the concepts of Sannyasa and Tyaga. So in general, Sannyasa and Tyaga are same kind of words. That is, they have the same meaning. So Shankaracharya takes this stuff pretty seriously. So there are different level of options given by Bhagavan, Krishna himself. He says sannyasa initially is like kamya karma nyasa. That means giving up of desire-oriented karmas. That is sannyasa, according to some people. That is, these are all options given by Krishna himself. Option one is sannyasa means giving up desire-oriented actions. Sarva karma palatyagam prahu tyagam vichakshanaha. So some people say, so giving up of fruits of actions is actually tyaga. Or the third option here is tyajyam doshavadityake karma prahu manishinaha. So giving up all actions is giving up all actions because they always cause problems. Actions cause problems. So giving up all actions is, some people say that is tyaga. The fourth option is yajna dana tapas karma na tyajyam iti chapare. So yajna dana tapas should not be given up at any cost. Some people say. So then Krishna opens up in the fourth verse, Nishchayam Shuname Tatra Tyage Bharatastatama Tyago Hi Purusha Vyagra Trividaha Sampraketitaha. He says there are three types of Tyaga. I will talk to you about it. And I'll give you the exact view of what is Tyaga and Sannyasa. But before we take this up, Shankaracharya clears this up as whether to give up actions or to do actions. This choice comes only for the adhikaris. Adhikaris are the people who are capable of doing actions, people who are eligible to do actions. And these people are all Karma Yogis. So everything Krishna talks about in this set of options apply to Karma Yogis who have the right to do actions, who have the eligibility to do actions. But Jnana Yogis don't have, Jnanis do not have anything to do with actions, because the very fact of there is an action and I'm supposed to do the action and this will be the fruits of the action, this concept doesn't even arise to the Jnana Yogis. Jnana Yogis doesn't even know that there's some karma to be done, because Jnana Yogis know that Atman is beyond all karmas, beyond all actions, and it is pure, stationary, actionless consciousness. So when they do know it, for them the option of should we give up actions or should we do actions, how should we do actions, does not arise at all. That's an important change Shankaracharya brings in, saying that this applies to the Karma Yogis. Then, of course, the summary goes like this. The summary of the 18th chapter goes like this. Yajna, dana, tapas, karma. That means yajna, sacrifices, dana means charity, tapas is meditation. All these things are done in according to the three types of aspirants, that is rajasic, tamasic and sattvic aspirants. Okay, that is explained further. Since we are not going verse by verse and we're only conceptually talking, we just talk about some summary of this, right? So after talking, we will go into details only next time when we visit each of these verses and take up Shankara Bhashya in detail. Okay. Then they talk about what are the five reasons for actions. That is the body, the doer, the agent, the different senses, and also the activities. These are all the five reasons, and also Bhagavan himself is the fifth reason. So these are the five reasons for actions, any action, right? All actions are done only using these five elements. Okay, and he says that the akarta is that which is actionless, is Atman. Okay. So even the idea that jnanam, jneyam, jnata, that is knower, the object of knowing and means of knowing, all these things, these are triputis. This triputi, as long as that exists, all these actions seem that they all exist. So whether the triputi becomes one, there is nothing to be seen, there is no jnana, there is no knower, there is only one thing. That aspect is not explained yet. But here, only for all actions, you need these three elements, that is knowledge, the object to be known, the knower, and the karana, the instruments of action. These are all necessary. So even the karta or the doer can be of different kinds, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. That is explained here further. Okay. So even the actions could be sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Different actions are explained again further here. Dharma and adharma, knowledge of dharma and adharma separates out the sattvic people and rajasic and the tamasic people. then comes the separation between the types of work for Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and other people. What are the types of work which are suitable for their nature? And that is the Swadharma of those people. And then comes the summary of the 18th chapter, summary of the 18 chapters directly told by Krishna himself. And that is also explained in Shankara Bhashya. So he talks about the Swadharma, Swakarma, and then how that will purify a person, and then that person would dedicate everything to Ishwara using Swadharma. And then it talks about how such a person who is doing Swadharma becomes pure and achieves the higher level of Jnana, which is pure, and where a person can realize himself separate from all this universe, changing universe. And that person gets bhakti to the Lord and then dedicates everything to the Lord, offering everything. He constantly thinks about the Lord. And because of the grace of the Lord, mat prasadat tarishyasi, because of the grace of the Lord, this person crosses all obstacles. So here Shankaracharya supports the idea of Tameva Sharanam Gaccha Sarvabhavena Bharata. What he says is Ishwara is in the hearts of everyone, and everybody is moving around like robots powered by Ishwara. And such a person, that Ishwara has to be surrendered to, and only with the grace of that Lord, one person can get ultimate peace. Look at how Shankaracharya supports the idea of grace here. So Advaita is not bereft of grace, because most people, the type of people, aspirants addressed in the 18th chapter is more like Karma Yogis. That is why this all makes sense. So at the end, Shankaracharya talks about Manmana Bhava Madbhakta Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mami Vaishvasisachante Pratijane Priyosime. Here Shankaracharya talks about Saguna worship in a way. And in Sarvadharman Pratijya Mamekam Sharanam Prajam Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Moksheshyami Mashaha. That is the main verse of 18th chapter. Shankaracharya gives a different twist. We will see that in the next class. So we will. So this, I'm just giving you an overview of these verses in the 18th chapter today. And how does Shankaracharya take some really unique aspects of 18th chapter? The way he looks at it is very different. That's what we're going to cover in our next class. Now I'm going to open it up to some questions, and we should conclude this lecture a little early, because we cannot go into this concepts of 18th chapter deeply today. We have to pick up a few concepts and go deeper next time. Maybe 1 or 2 classes we will finish Shankara Bhashya. Hope this is somewhat useful to you, whatever we talked about.
I have one question, Krishna.
Okay.
In Shankara's view, this Bhrama-bhuta Prasannatma, from there he says, Madbhaktim labate param. So even after that Brahma-bhuta sthiti is obtained, still I think there is a higher kind of devotion according to Krishna. How does Shankara look at this?
Okay, here, where is Brahma-bhuta Prasannatma? One second. Okay, that is 48 and 54. Okay, 54. 54. 1 second, hold on. Okay, 54. Let me find out what it is. Okay, hold on. Okay, see, I don't think you can see my screen. I say share screen. I'll show you the Gita super site. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in this Brahma-bhuta prasannatma nasochati kankshati savam sarve samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakti mulabhate param. Right? Here, who is this Brahma-bhuta? Brahma-praptaha, according to Shankaracharya, here is Brahma-praptaha prasannatma labdha adhyatma prasada swabhavaha na shochati kinchit atha अर्थवैकल्यम आत्मनः वैगुण्यम वा उद्दिश्य न शोचति न संतप्यते न कांक्षति. 1 second, let us see what exactly is Brahma-bhuta. In the previous verse, ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam parigraham vimucya nirmamah shantah brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Right? There the Brahma bhuyaya kalpate means he is not ready yet. He is not Brahman. See, ahankaram balam darpam, here Shankaracharya says ahankara, kama, krodha, parigraha, vimuchya, parityaja, parivrajako bhutva, deha jivana matrepi nirgata mama bhavaha nirmamaha atayeva shantaha uprataha yasam samhrita harsha jnananishtaha yatihi jnananishtaha brahmabhuyah brahmabhavanaya kalpate samatto bhavati anena. So what he says is a person with a strict life without any desires and without any diversions, distractions, or kama, krodha, lobha, or anything like that. Such a person gets ready to become Brahman.
So he is equivalent to that Sankhya Yogi of 2nd chapter.
Exactly. It's more like a Jnana Yogi. Jnana Nishtaha. He himself says here, Yatihi Jnana Nishtaha Brahma-bhuyaya Brahma-bhavanaya Kalpate Samartho Bhavati. Anena Kramena. How is the next one, right? The next one is, that is this verse. Brahma-bhuta prasannatma. Here Brahma-bhutaha Brahma-praptaha prasannatma labdha adhyatma prasada svabhavaha. So it is just that it is a maturation phase here. It is not complete. Shankaracharya's rules are very clear. When it is complete, there is no experience. There is no thinker, there is no thought, there is no object of experience, there is nothing to be known, and there is only one thing. That is very clear in different places. Here, whenever Shankaracharya does not see the context, he does not give additional meanings. He will just stop at where it is. So bhakti is at the lower level, because bhakti is bhakti to Parameshwara. Uttamam jnana lakshanam chaturtim labhate. Chaturvidha bhajante vam jana sukrutino arjuna. Those 4 types of jnani, 4 types of bhakti people, they are explained here. So see, if you go deep, Shankaracharya goes very parallel, very similar to Ramanuja.org. For him, bhakti is necessary. Jnana will come at the end. That's all it means. Jnana is the complete end, a realization. From that point onwards, there is no path. That person becomes that original jnana from where he came first. So that is, he becomes Brahman. He just goes and becomes one with Brahman. That's his final view. But the rest are all lower level.
What is the meaning he gives for that Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param?
Here, Mad Bhaktim Mahi Parameshware Bhaktim Bhajanam Param Uttamam Jnana Lakshanam Chaturthim Labhate. Like the highest level, of 4th level bhakti, which is Jnana Lakshana. That means that is Artho Jigyasuha Artati Jnani Cha Bharatarshabha, right? There are 4 levels of Jnani Cha Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam, Janaha Sukriti Arjuna. All of these people do bhajan or worship of Parameshwara. And the 4th one is Jnani. Jnani is also the worshipper of Parameshwara.
Okay, so here it is referring to the Gnani of the 7th chapter. Okay.
Yes, 716. See, a slight here and there, if you look at these acharyas, are not extremely different from each other. And Shankaracharya, goes at real lengths to strengthen, support, explain the nature of bhakti and how that bhakti turns into jnana. That's all. Any other question?
So when Shankaracharya also talks about Brahman and Maya, is he also coming close to the Vishishtadvaita principle of Chit and Achit? And those are the parts of Brahman. So maybe because it's Vivarta and Parinamavada difference, but still overall, if we see the deep meaning, it seems to be the same.
It seems to be the same. Because except if you take the Nirguna out, right?
Yes.
Then becomes the Maya Shakti becomes the power of Brahman. And that power is Saguna is that Brahman is Saguna. So the thing is, everything else becomes same as Vishishtadvaita after that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for everybody who is in samsara, he has to follow the Saguna Brahman only.
Of course.
Way out.
There is no other way. Because he doesn't know what Nirguna Brahman is. He doesn't even know how to get there. No address. No path. Cannot find it.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is only one path is Saguna only. Unless somebody is who is a Jnana by birth. Jnani by birth.
Even for a Jnani, it may be that the Jnani, whenever the Jnani talks to the others in the worldly, the samsara, for them, whenever he talks, it may be like it seems to be like Nirguna. But for him, because he knows the attributes of the Lord, because he is a Jnani. So in that case, again, the attributes still exist. Means it's still Saguna for him. If we see that way. Even though he says Nirguna, but Nirguna is still Saguna.
Yeah. See, the thing is, at the end of the day, you will know that even Shankaracharya does not mean Nirguna to be exactly identical to an object which has absolutely no characteristics or attributes of any kind. Even Shankaracharya doesn't refer it that way. But when the words seem to refer like that, his explanations, the bhashyas, the different bhashyas of Upanishads seem to tend towards that kind of a meaning. But it's very clear that it is not completely Nirguna. It's very clear. But many of the followers of their systems, because the term Nirguna is used so many times in Shankara Bhashya, they take it as purely Nirguna, which is highly contested by other acharyas, that you cannot have any description of any Nirguna object. First of all, there cannot be such an object which is Nirguna.
Yes. And Maya cannot, I think this is my opinion, that Maya cannot be taken as illusion.
It cannot be taken as illusion. It is a real power.
Yes. So
it
because
could be very a powerful power. It could be extremely powerful, but still it is a real power.
Yes. And that illusion seems to be wrong, seems to be a misconception. The English word seems to it doesn't denote the right meaning.
It does not. It does not denote the right meaning. That's why I had sent a paper where somebody had tracked the meaning of Maya from the Upanishads, from the Vedas, from some different texts for a very long time, and how the Maya concept has changed. Its meaning has changed over time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Namaste then. Is there any other questions?
Only one this thing, that adhishtanam tata karta. So from what I understand is Shankara's view, that any action, whether right or wrong, all the five are involved, including the Paramatma.
Correct.
Right? So also in that, when you're speaking of that, you also spoke about the Nirguna Brahman being actionless. So where does he indicate that?
In 18th chapter, you mean? Or in that particular verse?
No, when you are giving the concepts, when you're telling the concepts, you had mentioned about the five causes of an action. But the element of inaction is the Nirguna Brahman over there, Akarta. You had mentioned that. So my just question is whether there's an indication of that in the meaning of that particular verse.
See, there is a verse, right? 18:16. Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha pashyatya krita buddhitvat nasa pashyati durmadihi. See here, here also the akarta is not straightforward here. If you want to look at this verse, we can look at it. It is 16.
Maybe we can take it up in the next class, Krishna. Even I will go to the meaning.
So. It's getting too late. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Namaste. Asman Gurubhyo Mahatma Paramagurubhyo Mahatma Sarvagurubhyo Maha Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Maha Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Maha Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Maha Sarvam Shri Krishna Parabrahmane.
Thank you. Namaskaras.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaras.